I was pulled over for speeding in Alpharetta a couple of years ago. Why would I start with that? The reason is that when I was pulled over, something didn't seem right about it. The speed limit seemed like it was too low, and the officer that pulled me over is someone that I've seen for over 10 years of going through Alpharetta, going to work, as just pulling people over for revenue. It didn't seem right. The way he was hidden over in the side, you couldn't see him until the last minute. If it's supposed to be about public safety, why are they hit over in a portion of the road where people are turning left and that actually hit that officer? He's on a motorcycle. So instead of just paying the fine, I decided to fight it in court. The reason is I can't stand for things that seem corrupt. They drive me crazy, and it's something that I'm drawn to. So I started research, a lot of research, 100 hours of research into Georgia speeding law. There's, I don't know, a dozen laws or so. Went to court. They were hostile because they're not used to someone fighting them for such a thing. It was a $100 ticket, no points in my license. I don't care. I don't care if it was a $1 ticket and I had negative points in my license. I can save it for later. It doesn't matter. It's the point of it. And I don't like revenue generating type of things. So I went to court. Prior to that, I went to court and watched how they did it. I wanted to see how things actually worked. They were railroading everyone. They were rude to people. They were intimidating them. Now I realize that if my mom went to court, she would have a fair chance because she's not built that way. She would expect justice like most people would expect justice. And so now I have to fight it. So went to court. I proved 17 times over that what they were doing was wrong. The speed limit was wrong. The officer actually was violating Georgia speed trap laws, things like that. 17 times. The judge is like, he didn't know what to do. They did not want me to win on this. There's a whole gallery of people watching that was going to use my same defenses if they did. So the judge said, let's set this for a different day. So I stood there. I didn't know what that meant. And so I asked the clerk, I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, oh, the judge just wants you to come in at a later date. They had to regroup. I've never been to court for to defend myself. This is my first time. So I went in a month later when they rescheduled court. Now the city solicitor, prosecutor, whatever, she was there. And I wasn't expecting that. They didn't have a prosecutor. It's just, mano a mano, the officer versus the defendant. Have a real bona fide lawyer I'm up against. Doesn't matter. I planned for that anyway. Again, 100 hours of research, every different angle. Had a tape recorder, had the Supreme Court ruling saying I could have a tape recorder in my First Amendment rights. Everything I had a briefcase full of papers that thick with Georgia case law, superior case law, Supreme Court law, everything. Everything I did was according to law because I wanted to win this to show that it could be done. Long story shorter, maybe hopefully to finish this up a little bit. I won the case. The solicitor, the prosecutor, I'm sorry if I get that wrong, they were going crazy. They could not stand what was about to happen. A pro se, goofball, redneck-sounding defendant is about to beat her in court where they have beat person after person after person by intimidating them. But not only did I beat them, I showed that part of Alpharetta, that speed limit was wrong. So you can go through there now, and you can go basically 55 miles an hour, even though it's 35 miles an hour. It's not legal how they set that speed limit. Where the officer was, they can't use that anymore because I showed in a court of law that that's wrong where they did that. You have to be visible for 250 feet for the officer's safety as well. $100 ticket, they told me that they would let me off with $50 and no points. $50 just, and I said no. I said, I don't care if you pay me. I'm not backing down from this. That is how I'm built. So whenever people talk about, I want to do this and that and the other when I go down to the Gold Dome and everything, know that what I say, I'm going to do. My name is Sam Moore. I think the role of government is to preserve the freedom, liberty, and life of the people that reside within that. That's it. When you get beyond that, you're creating problems. Everything we've seen, Obamacare, the strings from federal highway funds, all this stuff, that is getting beyond that role of government. I will fight against that. Second Amendment rights, constitutional carry. If you don't know what that means, it means the Second Amendment is your permit. You don't have to ask permission to buy a gun, own a gun, carry a gun, lawfully. You got the Second Amendment. Education. You should be able to choose for your children how they're educated. Public, private, charter, homeschooling, whatever, doesn't matter. The mix is important. Not everybody can afford certain forms of education. Certain forms don't fit with particular students' needs. Let the parents decide. Free market solutions is what I'm for. Property rights, I'm against property taxes. I'm against income taxes. I want to abolish them in Georgia, replace them with consumption level tax, consumption-based tax. What that does is, if politicians want to raise taxes, instead of doing these little sneaky means and everything they do, little nickel and diming here and there and things like that, raising millage rates that you don't notice. If you have it across on a sales type of consumption-based tax, everyone sees that. Because everyone sees that, the politicians won't be able to raise taxes without you knowing about it. They can't do it secretly as they have been. And because of that, taxes will go down, or at least they won't go up, hopefully. Since taxes aren't going up, they're not going to be able to fund all the little pet projects and projects for their friends and things like that. You know, thanks for getting me in office. Here's some money for your district or whatever. They're going to hate me down there.
All right.
Hate me down there. And that warms my heart, because what's going on down there is not right. And I'm going down there to fight it. My name's Sam, I'm State House District 22, and I appreciate your vote.